In 1453, one of the greatest cities in the world, Constantinople was on the brink of destruction. Once the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, it stood as a beacon of wealth, culture, and Christian power for more than 1,000 years. But on May 29th of that year, after a relentless siege by the Ottoman Empire, Constantinople fell, forever altering the course of world history. At the heart of this dramatic event was Sultan Mehmed II, the young Ottoman ruler determined to conquer the city. For centuries, Constantinople had stood as a symbol of the Christian East, strategically positioned between Europe and Asia, controlling key trade routes. But its importance was not only geopolitical. Constantinople was also home to centuries of knowledge, art, and science inherited from the glory days of the Roman Empire. By the mid 15th century, however, the Byzantine Empire was but a shadow of its former self. Once spanning much of the Mediterranean, it had been reduced to little more than the city of Constantinople itself. Surrounding it was the mighty Ottoman Empire, which had steadily grown in power and territory, controlling nearly all of Anatolia and parts of the Balkans. Sultan Mehmed II, driven by his ambition to unite the Islamic world and create a new empire, knew that Constantinople was the key to solidifying his rule. In April of 1453, Mehmed launched his campaign. His army, over 100,000 strong, dwarfed the city's defenders, but it wasn't just numbers that gave him the advantage. Mehmed brought with him the most advanced weaponry of the time, including massive cannons capable of destroying the city's famed walls. These walls, built by Emperor Theodosius II over 1,000 years earlier, had withstood countless invasions, but the Ottomans' new artillery technology would change everything. So, for nearly 2 months, the siege raged. The defenders, led by Emperor Constantine XI, put up a valiant fight despite being vastly outnumbered. Byzantine forces were supplemented by a small contingent of Genoese mercenaries, but even their expertise in naval warfare couldn't break the Ottoman blockade. Day by day, the relentless barrage of cannon fire chipped away at Constantinople's ancient defenses. At the same time, the Ottomans had also blockaded the city from the sea, preventing supplies and reinforcements from reaching the beleaguered defenders. In a bold and ingenious move, Mehmed ordered his troops to transport their ships overland to bypass the chain blocking the Golden Horn, the body of water protecting the city from the north. This maneuver shocked the Byzantines and sealed their fate. By late May, the walls of Constantinople were crumbling. The defenders were exhausted, outnumbered, and running out of supplies. On the night of May 28th, Emperor Constantine XI and his men gathered for one final mass at the Hagia Sophia, the grand church that had been the heart of Byzantine Christianity for centuries. The next morning, as dawn broke, the final assault began. The Ottomans poured through breaches in the walls. The defenders fought desperately, but by midday the city had fallen. Constantine XI, the last emperor of Byzantium, was killed in the battle, and the Ottomans flooded into Constantinople. Mehmed rode triumphantly into the city, declaring himself the conqueror. One of the first things he did was to convert the Hagia Sophia into a mosque, symbolizing the transformation of the city from a Christian capital to a new center of the Islamic world. The fall of Constantinople was more than just the end of an empire. It marked a seismic shift in the balance of power between East and West. The Byzantine Empire had been the last vestige of the Roman Empire, and its collapse sent shockwaves through Christian Europe. Pope Nicholas V called it a terrible blow, and many in Europe feared the Ottomans would continue their march westward. Yet, the fall of Constantinople also had unexpected consequences. As the Ottoman armies occupied the city, many Byzantine scholars, philosophers, and artists fled to the west, particularly to Italy. These men carried with them centuries of preserved Greek and Roman knowledge, texts that had been lost to the west but had survived in the libraries of Byzantium. This migration would fuel one of the most transformative periods in European history, the Renaissance. Ironically, Mehmed's victory over Constantinople helped spark a cultural and intellectual revival in the very Europe he had hoped to conquer. The ancient texts these scholars brought with them would inspire figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Copernicus, laying the groundwork for the scientific revolution. But that's a story for another time. The fall of Constantinople marked the end of an era, but it also set in motion a series of events that would change the course of human history forever. From the collapse of a once great empire came the rebirth of knowledge and creativity in the West, a rebirth that century later would lead humanity to the stars.